Okay guys, what happens when you're trying to find that new disc or a replacement disc of a disc that you've loved for so long? My Vector has just gotten too flippy, and I've had a couple good contenders in there, but I just can't find that one. And so today I thought I would just come out to the field, and I brought 32 contenders, and we're gonna start throwing them and see which one pops up and says, hey, choose me for in the bag. And we're gonna talk about it right after the intro. All right, so I'm out here on my lunch break, and as soon as I pulled out the camera, leaf blower kicked on. And I'd love to be able to hang out and wait for him to stop. You know, it keeps doing that, and then he'll kick back up. There we go. But so I'm gonna have to go. Sorry about the audio on this. But so let me show you what I got. I've got 7 reactors. Then I have 11 torpedoes and a Mustang, mint Mustang. They're all basically the same disc. Then I've got 4 hexes and some brand new ones, and then actually 3 brand new ones and 1 beat one. I've got 4 matrices from back in the day. And then finally my hodgepodge. I've got a Detour, brand new Detour that may be just enough stability that I like it. I've got a Mako 3, and then I've got 2 of the Ace Run, the Buzz SS's that I really liked. Yeah, and then the Echo that I just got from Gyrapalooza. And so we're just gonna get out here. I've got my stool sitting out there. It's about 240 out to it, because I'm not gonna try to kill these, especially with 32 of them. I'm just gonna try to throw straight at that and see how much deviation the disc travels as I throw it. Do have a tailwind of about 7 miles an hour coming through here. It's a little bit right to left, slightly over my shoulder. So there's probably gonna be a little bit more stability to these. I'm gonna start with the Detour and these guys, because a couple of these are a little more flippy, and I think just warming up, I'm gonna need to throw a couple that pop up. So we'll see how it goes. All right, here we go. All right, I think I just paced off my my stool. I don't think that's 240. Got a good flight. I actually threw that with just a slight anhyzer, and it just kind of went out and then fought back. So that's why I was wondering about that Detour. Is it starting out with just enough, just a touch, little pop? All right, let's try the Echo. It's nice and straight with a little fade at the end. All right, the Ace-a-thon. The thing about, I dyed these and they're a little slick. I was using them for the Ace runs. I liked it, but they just have a little bit of a something to them. Oh, I yanked that over. Not a good throw. Good thing I have a second. To be honest, I don't think these are gonna make it. It is a good flight though. All right, old Mako 3 DFX disc stamp. Yep, nice and straight with a smooth fade. All right, now let's do the matrices. Got a Proton. Yeah, that's nice and flat, but then it's got that stability to it. That's what I was pretty much assuming the Matrix were gonna have a little more stability than what I wanted, but they feel nice. Nice and flat, and then it's just gonna trail off. It's a nice shot though. I turned that over just a little bit more, and that one, I think that was the Electron that just, it's not as stable. Pretty flat, just a touch anhyzer, but then it's gonna fade out. And I'm already getting warm. I did the double zip today. Yeah, I'm looking good, looking good. Yeah. All right, now let's pull out the hexes. That's pretty nice, just right down the middle. No real fade. Pick this one up at mile marker 63. Yep. It's brand new and got a little more pickup to it. I mean, I like all these. That's the problem. I like all of them. Threw that nice and flat. That's a brand new one, first flight. That's a good flight, but yep, it's got that stability at the end. But good carry. All right, I've thrown this one a little bit, so it's a glow. It's gonna be a little more overstable. Plus, we've got the wind trying to push it. I'm sorry, all the worms I just burned. All right, let's jump through the reactors. I think some of these are gonna be overstable too. Nice floater, a little nose up and then faded at the end. That was pretty neutral, but it's got a little bit more carry than I want back. Brand new one, I think this one's gonna be overstable. Yeah, so throw it nice and flat. It's not too bad, not fighting too hard. For being new, not bad. This is the one I've been bagging. And I'm liking it, but I wanted to compare it with some other ones. Just right down the middle. All right, one of my old reactors. Got a little nose up on that one, so that one's gonna fade out more. Another new reactor. I even gave that one a little extra anhyzer and it's fighting out of it. So what I'm basically gonna have is I'm gonna have some here and then I have some here. And I actually am gonna take one from in here and one from in there for the two different stabilities. That was nice and flat, a little bit nose up, so it's gonna tail off, but yeah, got that hop to it. I threw that nice and flat. Got a little less fight to it. And see, I really like the reactors as they get beat up because they're wanting to push, but then they've got that fade. But as you beat them up, they just kind of hold and keep pushing. So yeah, so far, my old reactor is still winning. All right, now these are all basically torpedo, or the Mustang. I've got the Mustang here that I got from a glow bag. It flew pretty straight, but then had that hook up at the end. Okay, so let's face it. I've got these torpedoes, but I need ones that I can see. So some of these are out almost automatically. And these two, since I've drawn on them a little bit, I'm gonna try them first. Wind has picked up a little. That one tried to do it nice, and they're all very reliable. It's just a matter of how much flip versus how much fade. Same thing. Right down the middle, a little nose up, and here comes the wind picking it up and just dragging it across. I'm leaving those 6 dead on the ground, so that means 26 because I wouldn't be able to find them on the course. These are the last 3 torpedoes. Yep, nice and flat with a little nose up, and then it just rides over. I got that spot nailed down over to the left. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm literally trying to throw it right over that stool just to see, repeated that shot over and over again to see how the discs react, because we're in the same conditions. Wind picks up a little bit, but I'm getting a good read on what each one of these does. I pulled that a little right, but I can still see the wind grabbing it, and it's trying to fade back pretty good. Yep. All right, last one. Nice and flat. It's pushing pretty good, and then just fades out. I got a bunch of good mid-ranges just in this one slot. Now I got to work on pyros. There are too many good discs out here. Do you have that problem? I just love, especially mid-ranges, something about mid-ranges. All right, let's go grab them. Okay, now these are the two, the one I burned into the ground and the one that I caught the trees to the right. So 24 of the 26 throws, I had good throws. So not bad percentages there, but let me show you what's going on here. First off, I underestimated, there's a stool back here. I don't know quite how far through, but we've got the detour here, and they're all, you know, there's just a swath of discs. This is my landing zone. They're all going about the same distance, so that's good. You don't have any outliers that are too short or really blowing too long, because you want to have consistency. But these are the guys right here, these 5, and maybe those couple over there that I'm interested in. Anything in the short grass, I'm gonna look at as being my straight shooter. I'm gonna throw him again. Let's face it, I've been playing with this guy, so he's high on the list. But then I'm gonna look at, of the disc over there, I'm gonna look at ones that speak to me that I wanna try again for a little bit more overstable. So I'll have a straight with a little bit of turn, and then I'll have a straight with a little bit of fade. So those are the 2 discs I'm looking for. So now let me grab them. I just remembered what I wanted to do was I wanted to mark each disc to kind of give me a flight pattern. I gotta go get a pen, I'll be right back. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do with every disc is I'm gonna put a little arrow, and I'm just doing a slight tick to the right on this guy. Can you see that? So when I grab the disc and look at it and go, oh, and go, okay, yeah, this one's a little bit fade to the right, a straight flyer. Whereas this one is a little more stable, so I'm gonna go straight and just a little curve to the left. It's not a lot, but so it gives me, when I have these sitting on my shelf and I go, which disc do I need? What's the next one if I want to replace it? I know that this is gonna be good for that shot, where the other one's gonna be good for this shot. Because sometimes you just can't remember, oh, is that flyer that does this or that? And so now I've got a quick reference. So this is what you wanna see, know that you're throwing consistently and the discs are flying consistently. So ignore the high weeds, but everything's right in here. Longest one's back there. The hex went the longest, but they're all right in here to right out in there. So everything was within a 30-foot oval right here. So yeah, they're all, you know, there's some variability in my throw or whatever, but they're all flying about the same. Good to know. Aha! Hiding like an Easter egg. Now we've got to do a count and make sure we've got them all. And that's why you count your discs. These 2 suckers were hiding, and I would just walked off thinking I had all of them. They were in the high weeds back there. Count your discs if you're going to do field work. Save your bacon. Okay, now you probably don't have as many discs like I do when you're doing a comparison, but you still need to get out in the field and do multiple throws to make sure it's not just a rare throw. So it's kind of like going to the shooting range and sighting in your gun. You're testing each one of these, repeating it several times to make sure, yes, this disc is flying how it should, or how I think it should. And so I'm gonna give these another throw down here. I've whittled it down to 14. I've already got kind of in my head what I'm probably gonna use, but you know, I'm fickle, things can change. So this guy should go straight and fade back to that power box over there. I pulled it a little left, flying nice and straight, and then it's got that good pickup at the end. Very reliable, very nice. Okay, the Electron, I'm probably not going to go with this, but it flew nicely. The Electron Matrix was a little straighter. We shall see. It might be good for in the rain, maybe. Nice and flat, and it just pushes with just a little bit of fade at the end. Nice. Let's try the detour. Yep, it's a detour. It's got that little, this one I got a better snap on it. So it went out and then it had that little, you know, because it's got a, the detour's got a 2 fade. Just had a little bit of pullover. Not bad for a hyzer flip. I really do like my uplink, and it's like, we got too many slots that are so nice. All right, I think this is the one I burned into the ground before. Let's see how it does. A little bit nose up, but yeah, still that reliable. Fade to the left. All right, this should be my point and shoot buddy. Oh, I pulled over on a little bit. Good thing I know that disc, but yeah, it didn't try to fight out, so that was on me. I think the thing with the hex, the 2 hexes, are that they will want to float a little bit more, where I probably want a little more dive, if I'm honest. Nice and straight. I started out a little left, and it's good and reliable. All right. A little lower, a little flatter. So it's got that consistent out and then just like this. It's not going out and crashing. It's going out and just cruising left instead of diving left. But I think I want to go either with the matrix or reactor for, especially if I do 2 reactors, then I've got mold minimalization. Pulled that little right. And that was one of the straighter ones. That was a fission reactor. Probably wasn't gonna make it anyway, so I'm glad if I didn't throw it real crisp, it was that one. All right, still a little nose up, but just nice and reliable. Yep. Neutron matrix. Nice and flat. It's got the, it feels like that's one of the most stable of the crew. It's almost starting to get in a little pyro territory, not quite, but I threw that flat, but I threw that left. It's a good flight and then a good hookup. Huh. Let's face it, we're splitting hairs with these guys. I threw that out to the right a little bit more, and then it's got a good solid dump to it. So one of the reasons I want to probably stick with the reactor is because then I'll have the straight and the stable, and I can cycle. As this one gets beat up, this one will start flipping, but they take so long because the MVPs, they usually last. That's another reason why I like to have my mid-ranges in the MVP, because they don't beat up as fast. All right, final one. I think this sucker's pretty stable. I threw that with a little anhyzer, and it's fighting out of it and breaking left. Yep. All right, I'm gonna go grab them, be right back. Okay, after all that, I think what I wanna do is I wanna stick with the reactor. This is my straight kind of point and shoot reactor. It's beat up a little bit and it just flies pretty straight for me. And then I've decided to go with the proton matrix. And the reason, I know I was saying I was gonna do the reactor, but the problem is if I do another glow reactor, I could grab the wrong one. I've done that with glow crave and a glow resistor, and those are 2 very different discs. And so I don't wanna make that mistake of, you know, grabbing the wrong disc and throwing it at the wrong time. So I think having the different edges and a different plastic will actually be better for me. But the good news is I have all these other discs waiting in the wings. There were several runners up that I know if I lose one of these, I've got some ready to go. Now, if you don't have to do this with a whole bunch of discs. Actually, it'd be easy if you've only got a couple discs that you're trying to decide from. Take those out and throw them back and forth multiple times. You know, the problem is I'm throwing so many of these, I have to walk and go get them and stuff like that. Let's say I've got 3 discs. I throw them out there. I throw them back. I judge how it's tailwind, headwind, and I do that back and forth several times, and usually one of them is gonna show its head as the one that keeps kind of firing correctly for you. And you may find one is a problem child in there as well, and those make the decisions a lot easier. And then if they're all flying the same, sometimes it just comes down to aesthetics, or one talks to you a little bit better than the other. So anyway, I hope that encourages you. This was more of a, I needed to do this for my own sanity. I wanted to bring you along, hopefully give you some ideas of how you can work through deciding what's the best disc to put in your bag if you've got a couple to choose from. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. We're really trying to become better players while becoming better people. So let's make sure, especially during this holiday season, that we're loving our families, loving our friends, loving our strangers that we meet on the course, and just trying to be more loving overall. Thank you so much for coming along with me, and I hope to see you out on the course.